From BQE Restaurant and Lounge in the heart of Atlanta's historic Martin Luther King District, it's Newsmakers Live, bringing you the issues, politics, and perspective of the Atlanta community. Now in its 10th season, here is tonight's moderator and your host, 8-time Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist, Mr. Maynard Eaton.
12 season. I thought the first show was needed to talk about the spiritual aspect and the clergy influence, black clergy's influence in the race. We go from that to what I think is perhaps one of the most important races in Atlanta. As we look at the turnover, if you will, of political offices in Atlanta, you'll have a new mayor, a new city council president, new council members, and one of the council members from the council member from District 11 is now running for mayor. District 11, in my opinion, is arguably the most important or significant city council district representing the creme de la creme of black Atlanta. Call it SWAT. Oh Lord, it's Kelly Jackson. But let's talk about that. I mean, to many things, that's where the Cascade Road, the Carter, I mean, everybody, when I got to Atlanta, that was the area to be in, Southwest Atlanta. To my left is Brianna McCorkle, who's seeking the office. To her left is Harold Hartnett. And to my right is Marcy Overstreet. You are 3 of 8 candidates seeking the office, right?
Yes.
Correct.
I'm told you're the 3 leading candidates.
Oh, all right.
What does Southwest Atlanta, what does District 11 mean to you? What does it represent?
Well, District 11 means everything to me. All of my life, my huge life experiences have happened in District 11. I graduated high school in the community, Mays High School. I graduated from Georgia State University, that's right down here. I'm homegrown. And my husband and I were married in District 11 at Cascade United Methodist Church with Reverend Kimbrough.
Kimbrough.
Yeah, he's awesome. We have a family business in the Kroger Plaza right at 285 and Cascade Road for over 20 years. And having District 11 survive and thrive is everything to me. And that is why I'm running.
Harold, can District 11 thrive and survive?
Yes.
Yes, it can. My name is Harold Hartnett. I'm of the 8 candidates that are in the race for District 11. I'm the only candidate that was born in Southwest Atlanta. And I'm proud to say that. Everything I've done has been about Southwest Atlanta, elementary school, high school, Douglas High School, and I was even college educated at Morris Brown College, which is in Southwest Atlanta. So yes, Southwest Atlanta can thrive, District 11 can thrive. It's one of the largest districts in the city. It's a real diverse city economically. We have some of the wealthiest African-American citizens in the city, but we also have some of the poorest as well.
Yes.
And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ms. McCorkle, you say Southwest Atlanta is ready for better. Does that suggest it's not been getting good representation from the present city council person?
I think that there are things that we all agree on can be done better in our community. So my background is really just, I'm a little bit different from the other candidates because I didn't grow up in Southwest Atlanta. My mom served in the Air Force for 20 years. I moved around a lot. I saw a lot of different kinds of communities. And when I moved to Georgia, I was 10 years old. I remember waking up in the car going, because I had never seen so many trees. I'd always lived in the desert. And so I fell in love with the environment, and then I learned very quickly about the people and the legacy and the history here in Atlanta. And so I knew from like maybe a year into being in Georgia that Atlanta is where I wanted to be, and I made that decision at 10 years old. I made my way up here to go to Georgia State, study public policy, and but my most proud accomplishment was expanding MARTA to Clayton County. That was a big community organizing effort, and it came from people.
You helped lobby for that, or campaign for that, or what?
Yeah, so helped get the legislation passed and let it happen, and then went down into the community and made sure everybody knew that the opportunity to join MARTA was on the ballot, or that they could make it happen by talking to their elected officials, which were the county commissioners. So just a lot of public engagement. But I said all that to say that I am very big on the people having the information they need to make the best decisions for their lives. And as I'm walking around Southwest Atlanta, I know why I chose to live in the community, but there's a lot of stuff happening that people don't know about.
Correct me if I'm wrong. neither of the three have prior political experience, right?
No.
No.
Why are you seeking office? Just because it's an empty seat? Or do you really think you can do something with this?
No, it's not. I'm not running this because it's an empty seat. Yeah, it's something that I want to do all along, was to serve my community and serve my people. I've always wanted to serve Southwest Atlanta. I love Southwest Atlanta. My NPU, NPUR, I've been on the executive committee for NPUR for over 10 years. Other agencies, other clubs that I'm on, I'm in Atlanta Planning Advisory Board, Public Safety Committee Chairman, Atlanta Animal Cruelty Task Force, Atlanta Citizens Review Board. I've served on all those boards. I'm big on politics, and I've always had an interest in
politics. Always been on your radar?
It has.
You always want to be an elected official?
It has. My major in college was political science. My minor was public policy.
Well,
Are you running for, you want to be an elected official?
I would love to be an elected official, but I am not a politician. I've never been in politics. I'm a servant. I'm rooted in service. I'm a retired Delta Airlines employee. Nothing but service. So I'm running for District 11 to serve my community and to get all of the information from my neighbors and take it back to City Hall. And I want to make sure that everything that we are due, our 1/12 of Atlanta, that we get that so that we can stay viable as a community. So that's why I'm running, because I feel that I can do that and that I can take and be the word, the collaborative word for my neighbors.
Ms. McCall, as you well know, you hit on it. Is a politician or a public servant? A lot of people don't look kindly on politicians, particularly in this era, from the president on down. Why do you really want to do this? It's not. It's almost a thankless job.
Well, I'm an activist and a community organizer, so I'm used to doing thankless work, right? Going out, talking to everybody, making sure we understand what the concerns are and bringing them back, and then making the elected officials pay attention to what the people are saying. That's always been the challenge that I've had as an activist. So I'm used to it being a thankless job. So I'm not running to be a politician. Service is big. As I said, my mom served in the military for 20 years, but it really just comes down to making sure that people are empowered, that they know what's happening to their community, they know how it impacts them, they know how they can take that information and position themselves for success. That's really why I'm in it. I see lots of stuff coming to Southwest Atlanta. People might get displaced. So I just want to make sure everyone who was there when the district wasn't going through its best time can stay there when it
Now,
is.
displacement, gentrification is the issue of the day. Everybody concerns about that. And I see it. I don't live in Southwest, but I see it happening. And that is, Southwest may not be the black Mecca it once was, correct?
Well, I'm going to work really hard to make sure that it stays a black Mecca. As well, I mean, I'm a diverse person. Once again, I've worked all around the world. So it is important that we can live with everyone, but I intend to make sure that our legacy stays strong in Southwest Atlanta. And the way to do that is to make sure that you know where it came from so that you can know where you're going. And I know that we've been very combative in Southwest Atlanta when it's time to grow. And I would like for us to be a little less resistant. So the way to do that is to make sure that they know what they get out of the deals. And when you're not so combative, you can actually get something out of these deals.
What do you mean by that?
Like Walmart came into our neighborhood and they were fought tooth and nail until they actually start building. And then people are still trying to figure out how to get Walmart gone. And what we should have done, since they were already on the way, all the paperwork was done, it was a done deal. What we should have done is had Walmart at the table to get a community benefits agreement.
Well, one of the reasons why people don't like Walmart in their community is because when Walmart comes into the community, it shuts down all the mom and pop businesses. Now, it has not done that in our community. One thing that I'm big on in my community, gentrification. I'm for gentrification as long as the people that are in our area are not displaced and we can grow all at the same time. Affordable housing is also one of the biggest things on my agenda as well. I feel this city has over 5,000 blighted properties in the city. If the city fixes up all those properties and put the, I don't want to say less fortunate, but those on lower income in those houses, then they won't be displaced out of the city. It's different things that I feel that the city should do when it comes to affordable housing to make sure that the city stays good.
People running for office say a lot of things. But once you get down to that city council, you got to work with the 12 other folks there. I mean, it's give and take, it's politics. And you can't get anything done by yourself. I mean, so we can say a lot of things, but can you, in a new council, with a new council president and a new mayor, can you really get much done?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this because my day job is transit expansion. So if I'm trying to expand MARTA, expanding MARTA to Clayton County was something that I needed to work with the state legislature for. It's something I needed to work with the county commissioners for, the mayors, and not everybody was always on the same page. So, you know, being active in transit expansion has really taught me about working with people across the different departments and the different levels of government. And it really comes down to understanding values, sitting down, having a conversation before you need something, making sure you understand somebody's motivations, what they want, their desired outcome, and then finding a way that y'all can all make it work. There's always some compromise to be made somewhere, but it's about making sure that you understand each other. So on the council, that'd be my first step, is build relationships.
But can a rookie, can somebody new to politics really make things happen on the council?
I'm not new to Atlanta, so I have lots of great relationships in Atlanta. My name is strong. So it is important that you send someone to City Hall that really and truly understands who they're dealing with. So relationships are everything in the city of Atlanta.
Mr. Hartnett?
Relationships are very big. In my community right now, I'm Zone 4 Community Liaison for Zone 4 and District 11 through the Atlanta Police Department. So I already have a good relationship with my zone commander, who is Major Griffin. Last week, I just held 2 public safety town hall meetings because of outcries of the citizens in our community for crime. So instead of them calling the city council, they called me. And I set the meetings up and we had the meetings and everything went good. And that's what we ought to do. We have to all work together to make it better for each one of us, for the community to stay good and to grow.
Mr. McCorkle, do you see with the turnover coming in the council president's race and the mayor, are we at the precipice of a new Atlanta? And how does Southwest Atlanta factor into this quote-unquote new Atlanta?
I think I know Atlanta's changing. A lot of people are moving into the city. It's a hot spot, it's a trendy spot to be, and it's continuing to grow. I mean, we're talking about attracting Amazon here. That could bring 50,000 jobs alone. That's going to bring people along with it, right? So the city's already changing.
And it might come to Southwest, right?
And it might come to Southwest, right?
Exactly.
But I want to say that it is changing. There are a lot of people coming in. I lived in Kirkwood at one point, and I just remember, I'd be really quick with the story, but I grew up, I was listening to Gucci Mane, I was in high school, and he would always say, East Atlanta, Zone 6. He said it at the beginning of every single one of his songs. And I remember getting in my apartment, my first apartment, walking down the street, staring at the East Atlanta Zone 6 police station and looking around like, this can't be right. This can't be the same neighborhood Gucci was talking about. That's how quickly it changed. And the time it took me to graduate from high school, come to Georgia State, graduate from there, and get my own place. That's how quickly the neighborhood changed. So Kirkwood's priced out, East Atlanta's priced out. Everybody's just slowly but surely moving to the southwest side of town as prices are, too high everywhere else. And so, you're seeing a lot of people in the neighborhood are commenting that, oh, they're coming. They're coming. That's what they're saying.
Is this a new day, a new political day in Atlanta?
I think it is for sure. And here's the thing. This week, I went to a meeting with the Camp Creek Business Association, and I won the prize because I asked the pertinent question. And the pertinent question was just about what you were talking about. Making sure that headquarters are looking at our southwest corridor. Because why would someone want to get off of the airplane, a business, and drive 2 hours in the worst traffic ever to Sandy Springs when your headquarters can be over in our lovely area? So I asked them, when are you guys going to start courting these big businesses and making sure that they come bring those jobs to the Southwest?
This so-called new Atlanta, is it good for Southwest?
Yes, it's good for Southwest. With me being a native and growing up here, I remember when I was little, and we always had a black mayor for the majority of the time when I was living. And I always heard, well, Atlanta's
all the time you've been living.
Yeah, the whole time, exactly, over 40 years. I'm not that old. Over 40 years. And that's one thing that I always heard was, well, Atlanta's going to always have a black mayor. Atlanta's going to always have a black mayor. Now, it's to a point to where we may even get a white mayor this time. So that just shows you just how much Atlanta has changed, where with Atlanta being a black mecca, with it being so much power, so much with the civil rights movement, with so much black money here in Atlanta, and now there's even thought of us having a white mayor. That just shows you how much of Atlanta has really changed. No, not about me at all. I can work with anyone. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. I've had to deal with black, brown, white, yellow, and green.
What about that issue, Mr. McCall? There is a lot of talk, speculation. The leading candidate right now is a white person. Is that going to impact your role on the city council?
It's not the fact that they're black or white that bothers me. It's about their ability to talk about racial issues. And the current front runner is not talking about race at all. She's running from the question as often as she can, and that's what concerns me. If you're going to be the mayor in this city that is known as the black mecca, as the hub where, for me as a young black woman growing up, I knew I could move here and be anything that I wanted to be. It didn't matter that I was black. That was what was important to me, and that's why protecting Southwest is important to me. So it's not about them being white. It's about, can they talk about racial inequality and what they're going to do.
I must say the other candidate, Peter Hammond, has talked about race straight up.
Head on.
I think he'd be better than the other.
Well, listen, let's bring it back to Southwest Atlanta. It is important to me that the next mayor really and truly deep dives into myself. What'd you say? No. Yeah, it is important to me that our next mayor deep dives into Southwest Atlanta. And I'm going to make sure that happens, because that's exactly what needs to occur.
Is Southwest a pivotal area? Is this
It is.
It is. It's a very pivotal area, because District 11 is a very large area. Like I said, the economic impact from District 11, you have some of the wealthiest African Americans to some of the poorest African Americans. But this area is big with civil rights, where you have some of the most prominent African Americans through the civil rights movement and through this history and time reside right in District 11.
Well, you just had two.
Yes,
C.T. Vivian lives in South, just off of Cascade, and so does Reverend Durley. So
Joseph Lyra lives a mile from my house.
what does that mean?
1/10 of a mile from mine.
What does that mean? Is that significant? Will it give you any more juice on the city council?
I think that the challenge here is balancing the growth that's coming with people being able to stay and be a part of that growth. I keep saying that, a lot of people in the community want growth, but what that means is that as the community looks better, the roads get redone, Greenbrier gets done, all the interchanges get redone, because all that's happening, it's funded, it's coming. Are the people who stayed in Atlanta going to be able to stay? I spoke with a woman who just left the community meeting where she said her main concern was that she knew her property taxes were going to go up. She said, this is great that we're finally going to get the attention that we deserve, but I'm worried about being able to stay here, and I'm not old enough to get the senior property tax abatement. I'm not old enough for that. So it's about balancing the growth at City Hall. So telling the developers, all the people that are coming, we want you here. We want our community to look good. We want to grow, but what can we do to make sure that the people who are here can stay here?
I'm gonna have to wrap this up, but I want to end with each of you saying something. To my mind, Southwest Atlanta is a heartbeat of Atlanta.
It is.
Certainly a black Atlanta. Why should I vote for you, Ms. Overstreet?
So I came to Southwest Atlanta because my mother was a part of the black middle class, and she's a hard-working black middle class woman. The whole time I was growing up, I was at Mays High School, and I'm here to tell you that it is time for us to progress past where we are. I will work hard in City Hall to ensure that all of our neighborhoods are safe. I'll make sure that those children are looking forward to going to school. I'm going to work hand in hand with APS and the Board of Education, because they deserve vocation back in the schools. They deserve after-school programs. Our children deserve part-time jobs when they get ready to graduate. So I'm going to do all that I can to make sure that, like I said when we first started, District 11 survives and thrives.
Mr. Hartnett?
One thing I'm going to push for when I get down to City Hall is we want to grow, that's good, but one thing I'm going to have it where any developer that wants to come into the city, to grow into the city, if you use city money, that any money that you finance through the city, that 15% of the housing that you use has to be set aside for affordable housing. And I'm going to make that mandatory. If you come into the city and want to develop, you have 15% of the housing that you build has to be set aside for affordable housing. Another thing I'm going to do as well, I'm going to make sure the education is real big. My District 6 representative now, Ishay Collins, at my town hall public safety meeting last week, she called me and said she wanted to come out because she wanted to express some things, which is true because the crime that we're having over in District 11 with Camp Creek and things like that, a lot of people are trying to blame Thorough kids or something like that for the crime happening. It's not so much coming from Thorough kids. Major Griffin and I was sitting down the other day, and he told me that a lot of the kids that they've arrested for doing crimes in Southwest Atlanta live in Ellenwood. Now that's the way on 675. They come all the way over to our area to do crimes in our area and then go back home. I'm gonna try my best to put a stop to that as much as I can. What we need is more parental involvement as well. And like I said, I work good with my Board of Education, Ishay Collins. And another thing that I'm really pushing so hard for is to bring vocational education back to the school. That's one thing that Ishay and I have had a meeting about, because every child is not able to go to college, but that does not mean that they can not be successful in life.
Ms. McCorkle, your last words of why should we elect you? Why are you running?
There are a lot of issues facing Southwest Atlanta, and as a wife, a mother of a 2-year-old, an activist and a community organizer, I believe that I'm uniquely positioned to help lead our district through this time of transition. We have a wonderful community. I want to make sure it stays that way, and I will be there, responsive. You can call me, I will be there, you will see me. I will make sure that everyone in the district knows what's happening and is positioned for success.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, the 3 candidates seeking the District 11 seat for the Atlanta City Council. They're supposed to be the cream of the crop of the 8 running. I think they've afforded themselves well here. And it won't make a difference, though, unless you go out and vote.
That's right.
Before I say this is Newsmakers, I want to say hello and goodbye to my daughter who's going back overseas to Kuwait. My daughter, Maynard Eaton, is here.
Oh.
Thank you.
She's my international half. And say hello to my wife, Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Newsmakers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's been a gracious host. Thank you.